Kohachi Inugami, an occult detective from Tokyo, arrives in a rural village to investigate their rotting livestock corpses. While staying at an inn there, he takes an interest in Kabane Kusaka, a young boy nicknamed Dorotabo for his perpetually dirty appearance and stench, and scorned by the rest of the inn, including the innkeeper and her son Nitaro. Inugami learns that the animals, mainly chickens, have had their organs chewed out, and these incidents have occurred with regularity every time during the full moon. Inugami then recognizes the pendant around Kabane's neck as a lifestone, a type of precious gem, and confirms that he was not an abandoned child like he thought he was. As they prepare to catch the culprit, Kabane is confronted by Yataro, who, jealous of the attention Inugami is devoting to him, steals his necklace, triggering Kabane's transformation into a ghoul that scares him away. Inugami explains to a frightened Kabane that he is a Hanyo, a child of a human and a ghoul, while reassuring him that he isn't human either but a baked Tanuki. Kabane is the result of humans and Kemono mixing together, whilst the Lifestone has been working this whole time to prevent Kabane's transformation. The culprit is revealed to be a deer ghoul, which Kabane kills with surprising dexterity. Inugami suddenly reveals that his true mission was to kill Kabane, whose identity the innkeeper knows, and shoots him. Owing to being a ghoul, however, Kabane wakes up later to find himself in Tokyo and Inugami welcoming him to his detective agency. Inugami reintroduces himself as the Kemonoist, someone who takes care of issues arising between Kemono and humankind in order to maintain coexistence. Kabane is introduced to two other members of the Inugami Strangeness Consulting Agency, a brusque Hanyo boy named Shiki Tadamaru and a feminine boy named Akira. Like Kabane, they have Kemono blood flowing through them, with Shiki being the part Arachi and Akira being a Snow Kemono or Yukina descendant, a Yukinoko. Kabane is taken on a job with them, where a Sanshitsu infestation has almost claimed the lives of a mother, a child, and a hazmat officer that attempted to enter the room. Shiki's spider thread fails and Kabane decides to enter the fray. As a part immortal ghoul, Kabane doesn't feel pain as well, and Inugami notes that while he may have felt fear and revulsion, they were probably all suppressed by the innkeeper who abused him as hard labor. The cause of the infestation is revealed to be a pair of expensive shoes that had likely been stolen, as Sanshitsu enjoy feasting on guilt. Meanwhile, Inugami makes a report to a mysterious woman about Kabane's arrival and his lifestone. Inugami sends Kabane, Shiki, and Akira to see Superintendent Yoko Inari, a kitsune lady who is also a member of the Shinjuku police that works with the detective agency. Before going, Inugami hands Kabane a good luck charm. Guided by a kitsune girl named Kan, Kabane is brought to see Inari, who tricks him into handing over his lifestone. Kan is then sent to take care of Shiki and Akira, but as her disguise as Kabane fails, she sets fire to the building with her tail. She reveals that all the staff here have been enthralled by Inari's pheromones and illusions, and so are like mindless puppets unable to feel even pain. With his thread, Shiki steals the briefcase containing Kabane's decapitated head from Kan and throws it at her, allowing Kabane to almost bite her shoulder off, knocking her unconscious. Kabane, with his head now out in open space, regrows his body, and Shiki formally recognizes him as his buddy. Together, along with a fainted Akira, they meet Inugami outside the station who had predicted everything. Later, as Inari plans to mass-produce the Lifestone and break down amicable relations with humans, it reveals itself to be a Tanuki charm instead, with an illusion spell cast on it by Inugami. In a rage, Inari kills her driver. After dinner, Kan barges into the agency's headquarters, intending on taking Kabane's head despite her hunger and her injuries, but Inugami subdues her. A human suddenly enters, bringing the smell of Kemono with him. Inugami ropes in Kan with their new mission, promising her Kabane's head as a reward. The man, Yoruno, has been possessed by a Nekomata after being seduced by her, and has resorted to collecting rats out of supposed love. Overhearing Akira's words that children are born out of love, Kabane decides to take on this mission as a first step to learning more about his parents. The Nekomata in question, Mao, who also works as a hostess in Kabukicho, has been turning customers like him into human-faced cats. Despite being shocked greatly, Yoruno has no attachment to his human life and agrees to become a cat and live with her. Inugami enchants an orange with an illusion spell to look like Kabane's head before handing it to Kan. Akira decides to pull his weight after watching Kabane's progress with work. He resolves to follow Inugami on a mission to the dirty Shibuya River, where workers building a dam there have been meeting unnatural deaths due to fraught Kemono. Down the tunnel where the river runs through, Akira tells Kabane how he came to Inugami searching for his twin brother after they left their nearly all-female village in Omori. As the frog Kemono attack, Akira unleashes a powerful burst of ice that freezes everything in the tunnel. Kabane is cleaning the office when someone drags him into a room. Akira, Shiki, and Inugami run to the room at the end of the hallway that Kabane is cleaning and see Kabane following the orders of a certain Mihai. Shiki aggressively tells Mihai not to treat Kabane like a slave. In response, Mihai suggests that if they beat him in arm wrestling, he will free Kabane. However, Shiki and Kabane lose every time. Inugami tells Akira and Shiki that Mihai is and has brute strength. At the park, Kabane encounters Khan. Khan reveals that Inari doesn't need Kabane's head anymore, and as soon as she brought Kabane's head to her, she saw another Kitsune serving her. Kabane offers Khan in a match. The two engage in a match and Khan loses. She cries over her loss and being weak. Back at the office, Inugami is shocked to see Mihai leave his room. Mihai reveals that his arm is broken by Kabane and will take 1 week to heal, hence he can't play games and decides to help Inugami in his work. Mihai accepts a job with no permission of Inugami. Akira and Kabane is seen arriving at the Bug Bite Electronics. Mihai leads and instructs them remotely. Shiki manages to enter the building with Mihai's Mihai Magnum as a companion. Shiki stumbles upon a room full of workers. Suddenly, a worker goes out of the room, crying out of desperation. While trying to leave, the worker is stopped by the manager Kaiva and lures the worker in an empty room. Yupong turning the lights on, the worker is attacked by and his brains were sucked by a Kananba. After a while, the worker stands up and goes to the worker room. Kabane tells that they should attack them considering that there is also 3 of them. Seeing how cautious they act, Mihai decides to have fun and uses his Mihai Magnum to make noise. Erika Kaiva goes out and sees the device. However, Shiki's camouflage is seen by one of the sisters, and Jut as one of the sisters try to attack him. Mihai uses the Mihai Magnum to electrify it. Shiki then trembles after the encounter, which made Mihai become more interested in playing with him. Mihai tells Akira and Kabane that his hand slipped and alerted the enemies that Shiki was there, so Akira and Kabane run to find Shiki. On the way, they run into one of the Kanamba sisters. Kabane defeats Momoka and he and Akira go inside the building to look for Shiki. He remembers that mosquitoes can sense presences using clues such as carbon dioxide, body temperature, and foot odor, so he sets a trap with his webs made from his sweat to confuse the Kanamba and catches Erika. Akira and Kabane meet up with Shiki, but Mihai doesn't want them to leave yet because that is boring, so they discuss what to do next when the oldest Kanamba sister, Rika, kills her sisters and easily defeats Shiki and Akira. Kabane knows that she is much more powerful than he is, but he won't give up because he knows that if she defeats him, he will not die, but she will kill Shiki and Akira, so he struggles until he breaks his wrists. Mihai steps in and tells him that the reason he hasn't been able to defeat him or Reika is because Kabane is using only his human strength and not Kemono strength, and that he needs to using his heart or his most powerful desire to fuel his Kemono powers. Kabane uses his need to protect Akira and Shiki to bring out his Kemono powers and rips the arms off Rika. A Kitsune from Inari's agency named Nogomaru shows up and says that he will take care of the rest of it and sets the 3 Kanambas on fire to erase them. Inugami, Akira, Tedmaru, and Kusaka are on their way to Kinshigo in order to meet Shiki's parents. Upon arriving, Inugami takes care of their lodge. Meanwhile, the others visit a souvenir place. Shiki notices a young girl enter the shop. After a while, Inugami arrives with Akio Teimaru, Shiki's uncle. The group goes to the forest. Akio introduces himself as Shiki's father, younger brother, and someone who knows a lot about Kemono. Akio then goes straight to the issue about Shiki's mother. He reveals that together with his brother, they went to the forest to learn about the legend of Nishikugumo, and that's where they encountered Shiki's mother. Akira and Kabane worries about Shiki, and when Shiki arrives, they ask him about the news. Shiki reveals that both of his parents are dead. Later, Kabane, Akira, and Shiki is seen bathing. Suddenly, Nogomaru appears, and since he saw that there are only 3 of them in the bathhouse, he reveals himself as a Kitsune. Noticing that the 3 seems down, he suggests for them to go explore the forest since there are fireflies. The 4 then arrives at the forest and sees a bunch of fireflies. Kabane gives his thanks to Nogomaru, and Nogomaru says he is happy. While wandering, Shiki finds a familiar tree and says that he used it as a landmark. Suddenly, He remembers that he used to go right from the tree. Shiki then starts to run and finds a cabin. He remembers that time that at the other side of the door is something that is way more disgusting. As Shiki opens the door, he recalls what he saw when he was young. It was her mom being impregnated by a Kemono. As they follow Shiki at the cabin, Nobumaru finds an artificial insemination catheter and wonders why is it there. He also finds blood and scratch mark. Nobumaru then suddenly remembers a certain Kemono incident in which a certain item called healing silk appeared in the human market and Inari suppressed it before it became public. However, a certain human was blacklisted. Meanwhile, Inugami goes to Akio's room and tells him he wants to have an adult conversation with him. Nobumaru reveals the man that is blacklisted to be Akio Teimaru. Nobumaru further tells that the place and the Kemono incident is related and the place is used as a test site to create the golden spider webbing. Shiki recalls his memories when he was young, when he tried to save his mother from the monster but suddenly felt the flow on his head and lost consciousness. Upon waking up, he sees his uncle that his mother is safe. However, her injuries are severe and will take long time to recover. At some point, Shiki felt like his uncle was lying and he ran from the truth. He realized that he should have questioned his uncle that time since he believes his mother won't throw him away. Shiki then tells Nobumaru that they want each other to share information. Shiki then tells them that he don't want to go by his gut, by if all are connected, he won't forgive his uncle and kill him. Shiki asks Kabane if he is gonna stop him, to which Kabane responds that he won't be stopping him since he chose it and offers if there is anything he can help. Shiki gives his thanks to Kabane. Meanwhile, at the forest, Inugami is having a conversation with Akio, while Akio is telling him that when goes to Kinchigo sometimes he remembers things. Inugami mentions the golden spider webbing. Akio becomes frozen and tells Inugami that he keeps getting on his way and what did he do wrong. Inugami then asks Akio how it was born. Akio confesses his doings, to which it was revealed that all this time Shiki is listening to their conversation through call and Shiki restrains Akio. After hearing about his past deeds which made Shiki angry, Akio asks Inugami if he is okay with the children killing, to which Inugami says he's already resigned to it. Just then, Akira arrives crying and covered in dirt after being left behind. A Kemono appears behind Akira and tries to attack. Inugami manages to protect Akira on time but was poisoned by a venom from the Kemono. A group of Kemonos appear in Akio's aid, which reveals to be Shiki's siblings, all of them being result of Akio's experiment. Shiki hears his mother's words through his siblings, which made him break down. Nobumaru suggests to Kabane for them to deal with it. However, Kabane gives no response and approaches Shiki if he needs help. Shiki cries and asks for Kabane's help. Meanwhile, Inugami and Akira is separated from Higuru. Unable to produce a gun, Inugami asks Akira if he could freeze his arm, to which he does. Just as a Kemono would be attacking them, the young girl appears and orders the Kemonos not to attack them. She then offers Inugami to come with her in order to heal his arm. Kabane continues to deal with the Kemonos with only goal in mind, to kill Akio. On the other hand, the young girl leads Inugami and Akira into a spring, which eventually heals Inugami's arm. The young girl begs for them not to kill Akio since there is still something she needs to ask him. Kabane defeats all the Kemonos and approaches Akio. He throws him near Shiki, saying that he can do whatever he wants to him. Shiki thanked Kabane for dealing with the Kemonos. Shiki then reveals that he had realized that killing his uncle won't bring his mother back. Just then, Inugami and Akira arrive together with the young girl whose name is Aya. Akio is shocked to see Aya at the wood. Shiki becomes intrigued as to why Akio gets so worked up. Aya asks Akio the location where he hid the cocoon she made. Akio refuses to reveal the information and controls Aya. Shiki begins to think about his uncle's personality over the years. Aya tells Shiki she can't reveal who she is or otherwise she will be hated by him. Inugami offers to track down the cocoon and contacts Mihai and asks any crucial information about Akio. Mihai reveals about Akio's place he regularly check on. Upon hearing about a spring, Aya rushes to it, to which she is followed by Shiki. Akio tries to stop her but failed. Aya realizes the reason the spring has detoxifying effects is because part of the cocoon was dissolved there. Just as Aya tries to dive into the spring, Shiki offers to do it instead. After some time underneath, he finds his mother wrapped in a cocoon. Shiki resurfaces and goes back. Aya asks him if he finds the cocoon. Shiki asks if it was her doing and if his mother is still alive. Aya reveals her full name and her true identity of being the golden webbing. Inugami, Kabane holding Akio, Akira, and Nobumaru rushes to the area and sees Shiki's mother. Akio reveals that he needs to keep Kumi close in hand and in case something happened to Aya and the idea of mass production. Shiki punches Akio. He then proceeds to tell Inugami he wants to move his mother on a safe place and decides not to kill Akio. He also asks Aya to come with them. The group leaves and goes back to Tokyo. Meanwhile, Akio is confronted by Nobumaru and was killed. Meanwhile, the group arrives at a clinic run by Inugami's friend. Inugami tells it was an urgent case and an old man appears before them, revealed to be Granny Ohana. Granny Ohana proceeds to check Kumi's state and tells that her condition might be something psychological and reassures Shiki that she will wake up. She then lets the group stay over the night. After checking up on Kumi, the group leaves, leaving Shiki and Aya in the room. With no courage to open the door, Aya reminisces about her memories with her mother and how she learned that she has a big brother who believes he will rescue her and her mother. Suddenly, Shiki calls out to her and encourages her to enter the room. Aya asks Shiki if he doesn't hate her and why won't he kill her like the other Kemono. Shiki responds that it is because she kept their mother alive and glad he met her. Aya then cries after hearing Shiki's words. Kumi then wakes up and sees her children beside her. The three hug each other. 1 week later, back at the agency, Shiki is absent, which is revealed that Shiki decided to stay at the hospital for a while to take care of his mother. However, they are surprised when Shiki arrives at the agency and has no plans on quitting and promises Kabane to help him find his parents as thanks for helping him. Aya also arrives at the agency with a completely different aura and personality. She then reports to Inugami that she decided to work with Granny Ohana. During the commotion at the agency, Khan arrives and challenges Kabane to a match. Inugami interrupted the children's fun and talks about a new job. The news reports about incidents where women's faces are being ripped. Kabane, Aya, and Khan take on the job. The three arrive at Harajuku, where the incidents happen. Khan volunteers to handle the job, boasting that she is Inari's subordinate. However, she isn't recognized and is ignored by the police officer. Kabane then introduces themselves as part of the Inugami Detective Agency, and the officer leads them the way. While doing the job, Khan develops a jealous feeling over Kabane and Aya. She is then distracted by a voice saying it will help her. Soon, Aya's hair was grabbed by something which Kabane manages to hit. A Kemono, who is revealed to be a Katanashi, shows herself and explains her intentions of ripping woman's face in order to impress the boy she loves. She then points out Khan being in pain. While being questioned by Aya about what is wrong with her, Khan gets angry and transforms into her kitsune form and tries to attack Aya, but Kabane manages to protect her, making Khan run away from the both of them. Aya and Kabane arrive back at the agency. Aya reveals that she gave the Katanashi a body to make her look human. Aya then leaves and gives Kabane a goodbye kiss. Later that night, Kabane goes to the park and asks what's wrong with Khan. Kabane sees Khan crying and questions her. Kabane comforts Khan. Khan reveals that she wants to be the most important to Kabane and asks him what she should do to do that. Kabane responds that he doesn't know. Meanwhile, Inugami accompanies Kumi to memorialize her deceased Kemono children. Kumi gives her thanks to Inugami for also keeping it a secret. The next day, Aya arrives again at the agency and so is Khan, where the two then bicker with each other. Akira then decides to take action and asks Kabane to choose his lover, to which Kabane says that it is Inugami, which leaves Aya and Khan shocked. A young man is seen walking when he bumps into a stranger. The group of the stranger corners the young man and asks for his money. The young man asks the group if they recognize someone and shows them a drawing of Akira. When the group teasingly responds that they don't know, the young man proceeds to freeze the man. Meanwhile, at the agency, Akira sees his stuffed toy ripped open, and Inugami suggests for Akira to ask Mihai to mend it. Upon receiving the mended stuffed toy, Akira hears a voice and Mihai reveals that he also installed an AI in it. Flashback is seen where Akira and his twin brother Yui carries him when he tripped and began to cry. However, they were found by Hisam and locked them up in a room. The two are being taken care of by the village. The agency receives a job to separate the remains of client's significant other from the beach sand, who unfortunately passed away at a beach. However, Akira trips on it and the bag spill all of its contents. During the next days, Akira is seen causing problems all over the place and at the job, including not plugging the kettle, breaking a vase, accidentally letting out the cats, and spilling food. Due to this, Akira decides to leave the agency and takes on a journey. While roaming the streets, he encounters Yu. Young Akira and Yu saw a bag at the mountains and decided to check it out and learn about Tokyo. A man named Inugami and Kemono's office. At bed, Yu promises Akira that they will go to Tokyo someday and live there quietly. After encountering Yu, Akira proceeds to ask him what he have doing all this time. Meanwhile, at the agency, Kabane and Shiki finishes a job, to which Shiki says that it is easier to finish without Akira. Akira and Yu goes to a park. Yu asks him what kind of Heim he wants, to which Akira wants to have something like ice cast. After hearing this, Yu builds Akira an ice cast. Akira then requests for more creations to Yu. While trying to take pictures of the place, Yu gets Akira's phone, freezes it, and breaks it, telling Akira that he won't be needing it. Yu leaves, telling Akira not to leave the place, and finds them food outside. Back at the agents, Shiki fails to make a proper beef stew. Kabane, on the other hand, gives his opinion about the beef stew, which made Shiki irritated. He then tells Kabane to buy some dinner. Shiki washes the plates, but constantly breaks them as he washes. After buying dinner and arriving back, Kabane tells Shiki that he realizes that Akira is good at something very important, and the reason they have never problems before it is because Akira. Kabane then tells Shiki for them to find Akira, to which Shiki agree. While browsing, Inugami sees a post about an ice castle. Inugami, Kabane, and Shiki arrive at the location. Yui is seen coming out from the castle and is asked if he is the owner of the castle. Just as he is about to freeze the reporter, Inugami shoots at his hand, stopping him. However, Yu freezes the wound and reveals the nil calculus attached to his chest. Inugami gives Kabane and Shiki a brief description of the calculus. Inugami then proceeds to ask Yu what happened at the snow village, since the calculus is forbidden to take out. Yu refuses to answer him. Yu asks the three what are their relationship to Akira, and Kabane responds that they are Akira's friends and asks Yu if Akira is inside the castle. Meanwhile, inside the castle, Akira is looking at social media by using his stuffed toy. Akira begins to worry about his brother. Big Brother proceeds to reveal that Yu's temperature around his heart is extremely low, that may affect him physically and mentally. Yu then comes back to the castle and tells Akira that the furnishings he requested are done and orders him to come down. Instead, Akira sees his friends frozen, resulting to him not feeling well. Yu leaves the ice castle to find mints for Akira. Akira cries while claiming that all of his friends have died. However, Big Brother tells him otherwise, that they are still alive. After realizing that Kabane doesn't die, Akira becomes happy and wonders if there is any way to melt the ice. Meanwhile, Yu gathers mints while reminiscing how he became the Snow Village chief. During their childhood, Akira notices that Yu always come home late and tells him that he wanted to help. However, Yu tells him that being a chief has a lot of responsibilities and it would be too much for him. Instead of this, Akira gives him a flower he found on a tree that day and congratulates Yu on becoming a chief. Yu was brought to the Nullstone's place and endures every day all of his duties as a chief. Over the time, he was swallowed by hatred and animosity, but Akira remains his salvation. Yu returns to the ice castle, but Akira requests for another favor in order to take advantage of the opportunity to melt the ice and save his friend. Inari and Nobumaru arrives at the ice castle's location. While waiting for the requested salt and water, Kabane manages to break from the ice and freeze himself. Kabane informs Akira about the Nullstone and asks him about it. Akira remembers that the snow village where he came from has a barrier against snowstorms and learns that Kabane needs to persuade his brother even if it means fighting him. Kabane then tells Akira to come back to the agency and apologizes for what he said to him that morning. Worried that Yu might freeze them again and kill them, Akira tells Kabane that he is the one who told his brother to deal with them. Kabane then asks Akira why is he lying since he wouldn't say those things. However, Akira says otherwise, that he always felt that way and hates them. Just then Yu arrives and tries to freeze Kabane again. However, Akira stops him, saying that he doesn't care about them and wants to leave the place. Before leaving, Akira sheds a tear and says goodbye to Kabane. Yu and Akira then both leave the place. Back at the ice castle, Big Brother speaks up and asks for Kabane's help in order to finish Akira's uncompleted task. It was then used to melt the ice on Inugami and Shiki by using some of its heat. While remembering Akira's words, Inari shows up in the ice castle. Kabane becomes wary of her presence. However, Inari reveals that she's at the ice castle to retrieve the Nullstone, not for the Lifestone, and asks for Kabane's help, revealing that it is connected to Kabane's parent. Akira asks Yu if the chief's duties are hard and he doesn't want Yu to be troubled alone. Yu tells him he doesn't have to do a thing and will keep him safe and be not tainted like. Akira reveals that he peed his bed. Learning of this and what the women might do to Akira, Yu orders to assemble all the women of the village and makes a proposal that he will make every woman contented in exchange of letting Akira leave the village, otherwise he will kill himself. Hisam then tells him that if did kill himself, they will make Akira the chief. Yu then tells them that Akira can never be his replacement and threatens the women of the village to risk the survival of the village. As a result, the women of the village agrees to the condition. Yu then orders Akira to leave and tells him they'll meet at Tokyo. Over the passage of time, Yu learns that Hisam betrayed him and they went after Akira. Yu becomes enraged and escapes the village. Hearing that something is coming, Yu locks up Akira in a cage. Just then, Nobumaru reveals himself. Yu asks him what his relationship to Akira, to which Nobumaru says that he is just a stranger. Yu tries to freeze him, however, Nobumaru manages to escape with his right feet frozen, but eventually melts it using his flame. Nobumaru transforms into his kitsune appearance. Inari tries to persuade Kabane into helping her retrieve it. Just then, Inugami gives his permission and lets Kabane join Inari and tells him to save Akira. Nobumaru replicates multiple of himself to confuse Yu, however Yu summons large ice picks and attacks Nobumaru. Kabane is seen running towards where Akira is. Akira contemplates that the other Kemonois will be killed with the way things are headed and execute his plan of an Operation Get Along in order to settle the current problem with his brother and his friend. This is what Akira had imagined, however, he is currently trapped inside a cage made by his brother Yu. Meanwhile, Yu fights with Nobumaru. When Akira calls out to Yu, which made Yu distracted, Nobumaru gets a chance to approach Yu and touch the nil calculus. However, Nobumaru wasn't able to stand the calculus power, resulting to it injuring his hands. While trying to think on how to retrieve the calculus, Yu comes after him. Suddenly, Kabane shows up in order to help Nobumaru. Together with Nobumaru, Kabane devises a plan in order to take down Yu. Kabane sets his body on fire and attacks Yu, which melts Yu's ice. Yu covers his body with ice and vows to protect Akira. Meanwhile, Akira still tries to get out from the ice cave. He suddenly realizes that the fog is made of water and tries to use his power to create a large ice that will break the cage he is in. Kabane and Yu engage in a continuous fight. While in battle, Nobumaru reminds Kabane that his body will fall apart if the flames overpowered his regeneration skill. However, Kabane insists for Nobumaru to put him on flames. Kabane manages to fully melt Yu's ice on his body. Just as Kabane is about to blow his second attack, Akira steps in and stops him. Yu's body starts to break, which is a result of the calculus absorbing his life. As Akira tries to remove the calculus from his brother, Akira sees a vision of his brother when they were young. He then realizes that Yu sacrificed himself for him in order to protect. Learning what his brother went through, Akira cries and tells his brother they will share happiness and fun from now on. Kabane rushes to Akira's side and tries to help Akira. He spits out the life calculus, which combined to the nil calculus. Just then, Inari interferes and touches the combined calculus. Kohachi Inugami with Shiki also arrive at the scene. Inugami tells Inari to give the calculus back since it belongs to Kabane. Inari proceeds to toss back the combined calculus since it would be useless for her to say if she can't hold the nil calculus. Before leaving, Kabane offers Nobumaru to come with them in order for Aya to fix his hand. However, Nobumaru refuses, saying that it is a result of his own lack of skills and leave. They then go to Granny Ohana's hospital in order for Yu to get some rest. Upon finding Kabane, Akira apologizes to Kabane. Yu wakes up and thanks Kabane for saving him. Kabane then interferes and politely asks Yu to tell him something about the nil calculus since he needs leave. Inugami proceeds to tell them about the war between Kemonos and human and their other calculus, like Kabane. Yu recalls the thing he had done and Inugami dismisses it as it happens all the time. Akira then tells Yu for them to be together all the time. In response, Yu apologizes to Akira. The group then poses for a photo. Meanwhile, Kan encounters Nobumaru in front of her. Kan becomes alert and cautious around him. However, Nobumaru tells Kan that Inari has a special mission for her, which made Kan delighted. Nobumaru then gives the orders, which is to persuade Kabane and retrieve the Kemono calculate. Kabane, Akira, and Shiki go to Mihai's room to get Nai-san repaired. Akira goes out to travel with his brother. On the other hand, Inugami and Kabane also go out to travel in order to find other calculators. During their departure, Kan appears before them, telling that she will also come to their trip.
Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and press the bell so as not to miss new videos. Bye everyone.